From Lalate headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons Lalate.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons Lalate with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we go over the breaking news about that fourth stimulus check, how much the Democrats still want you to have, and why there may be more months of checks. Then in the second part of this video, we go over the recon process, and why the recon may be adding additional sums of money in there, and why it should be adding sums of money like unemployment extensions. And then we cut to the third part of this video where all your questions are answered. The vote, the bill, the date, the when, the July 4th, the July 15th, every date, every nuance that you need to know about the recon, about the bipartisan, about the money, and about you. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime and applies a new benchmark of inflation. And while the economy was going on turmoil yesterday, today's relatively settled down. We'll explain what's happening today. Then we got to the big money that viewers continue to get, tens of thousands of dollars. It's a big day for you to get those tens of thousands of dollars as well. It's a big afternoon, and I'm excited for you to be here. Let's get to all the great details as we get into Afternoons Lalate. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Congratulations, you made it to the weekend. You deserve it. How's the weather where you are? It's too hot here. Can I just say that? It's just too hot here. It's just, yeah, it needs to cool down. It's more overheated than Kevin McCarthy at a Nancy Pelosi concert. It's just too overheated. How are you doing? Jump on the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today, we'll be going over that monthly stimulus check that the Democrats still want you to have and why there may be more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon and why that recon may be giving you more sums of money. Well, it is. But what are those more sums of money? And could one of them be extension of unemployment benefits? Then we cut to fifth stimulus then we cut to the third part of this video, which is absolutely incredible, where we'll go over the bill, the bills, the votes, plural, because there's a couple of them, what you need to know, July 4th, July 15th, all the dates you need to know, all your questions answered. And then we cut to fifth stimulus as your benefits are raised up a lifetime with the biggest benchmark we've ever seen in the history of the program. And then we got to the $20,000 of viewers continue to get, $10,000 of viewers continue to get, and this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. And next coming up is Evenings Lalate with a big broadcast tonight. Then it goes into Evenings Crypto, Overnight's Crypto, and then Sirloin is back. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Fastest growing YouTube channel, 400,000 subscribers in 1 week. Thank you for all the incredible subscriber growth this week. And thank you for the massive viewership. Let's continue to grow as a family. Subscribe, like this video. Every like helps in the algorithm rankings and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check in the first part of this video. The fourth stimulus check has a monthly approach to it from both the senators and the House members. But when you look at the number of checks, that may be the big issue for viewers going into the weekend and into the weekend. It's really this graphic. Pandemic plus 1 year, well, House bill says pandemic plus 1 year. We'll get back to that in a second. Senate proposal is July to December. Let's go over the monthly payouts. House, $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000. Senators, the monthly amount unknown, but word on the street is the Democrat senators want to give you this. Wow. Now that's deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000 over $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. That is per person. Now, here is what's going on. It has been a very tumultuous 7 days about determining whether the pandemic's over or not over. In fact, I was watching the Tour de France this morning, and the announcer said, it's sort of different now that, it's post-COVID, and then he stopped and he said, well, we're still in the pandemic. There you go. And he was in France, obviously, talking. So what's going on? The start of last week, we were still potentially saying, well, the legislators may contend the pandemic's over. And if they do, then that means that the House bill would be 12 months of stimulus checks, not pandemic plus 1 year. 12 months of stimulus checks is $13,000. But then the end of last week, and not this week, LA County said, no, we're reversing mask mandate. We're not over with the pandemic. Then Warren Buffett came out and said the pandemic's not over. Airlines saying the pandemic's not over. And then suddenly, it just all hit like a brick by midweek this week when we just had all these economic data that come out. Japan going on an emergency status as its country is now facing the spread of Delta. We had ICU beds in Missouri at 80% capacity. We have a lot of Midwest states that are just really having big problems at the moment. So this is now signaling, no, we're not out of the pandemic. Delta is spreading, and we're still just sort of getting the cusp of the Delta news. I don't want to turn this into a Delta video, but that means that potentially we would look at understanding that the pandemic is not over when considering that House bill. And if that's the case, then the House bill would be more than just 1 year checks. It would be pandemic plus 1 year. And that would be more than $13,000. Compare that to this and the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. Vote House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in and how the weather is. Things have certainly changed very quickly. And you now see how, I have a different opinion in the last week. So vote House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Who would get this forced stimulus check from those Democrats? Well, the Democrats represent, they want to give a forced stimulus check to everyone who got third stimulus check. Single individuals, 75,000 or less. Democrats represent, they want to give a forced stimulus check to you. Married couple, 150,000 or less. Democrats represent, they want to give a forced stimulus check to you. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent, they want to give a forced stimulus check to you. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, Democrats represent, they want to give a forced stimulus check to you. The forced stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone. The forced stimulus check would not be taxable. It's not income. And the forced stimulus check would come monthly. It would not come in a wave. So if you do see that check trying to body surf, at the beach today or tomorrow, and you say, "Hey, check, how you doing? Trying to body surf it? Yeah, gonna be a wet check. Gonna be a wet check." And then the big tidal wave comes, and then the Jaws comes, and then just everything comes, and there's bounce check. Sorry, check. Yeah, rude check. You deserve to be a bounce check. It's not a waivable check. It just cannot body surf. And yeah, it may be delicious for Jaws, but it's more delicious in our pocket. So there you go. The forced stimulus check the Democrats represent, you would give the month of July for the month of July. And in the month of August for the month of August. The forced stimulus check was supposed to go to a vote by July 4th, but they didn't go to a vote by July 4th. I'll explain that in the third part of this video. In the third part of this video, we'll be going over the vote, the date, the bills, the July 4th, the July 5th, everything you need to know about the bipartisan, about the recon, about the checks, everything you need to know. In the second part of this video, before that, we'll be going over the recon and the splitting of the recon from the bipartisan. What you need to know going into the new day and why this recon is very good news for you and could be giving you other sums of money. In fact, it is. Then we'll be cutting also later in this video to fifth stimulus and the raising of your benefits based upon that new benchmark inflation. And what happened yesterday, what happened today, it's just sort of like Jekyll and Hyde with the treasury yields. Oh my goodness. It's sort of like, two sides of a very bad San Francisco hairstyle. But that's coming up later. But first, let's get some money. This is what this channel does. I don't care if it's weekdays. I don't care if it's weekends. Weekends, you can get money from this channel. Get that pen and paper ready. And if it must be a Crayola crown, understand that there's nothing muddled about what I'm wearing. Circle around one more time. That's not the color wheel of what I'm wearing. In this recording, we're going to go over the big money you can get: rent, utilities, homeowners mortgage, homeowners utilities. If you're new to this channel, this is what I do. This is not a channel where I track checks. I get viewers money. And this is starting to turn into a lot like December 2020. In December 2020, second stimulus was not going out. It was the holidays, and you were waiting for the check. It never came. They couldn't get it passed then, second stimulus. And I stepped up and I got viewers $250,000 of rent. I saved their holidays. I saved their next few months. Viewers like Tyrone got $15,000 for his family in Boston for rent. It changed his holidays. He was an anomaly, viewer after viewer. So that's what you're doing right now. Jump in the live chat right now. Jump in the live chat right now and post any penny you've gotten from this channel, because you are absolutely incredible. You should be really, really proud of yourself. And I want you to post your success stories, because every success story you post updates me, and it also inspires other people to get money. And if you only got one money, it inspires you to get more money yourself. So let's go over what viewers are saying. $13,000 for rent is a reoccurring statement that's being posted by viewers every night, every afternoon on this channel in the live chat. $13,000 for rent. Nisi got $23,000, which included $20,000 for rent. But viewers initially were getting $5,000 for approximately 4 to 6 months of rent. I was disproven, because then it suddenly went to $10,000. Then it went to $12,000. Now we're seeing a lot of $13,000 for rent that viewers are getting. Number two, the utilities. I was initially saying a couple $100. Viewers are defying me and getting $3,000. They're defying the numbers, and they're proving they can go bigger and bolder. I'm really, really excited for you. And then we turn to Snap. I was saying, and I was seeing that some viewers initially were getting $5,000 to $6,000 a year annualized, and now viewers are getting enormous sums of money. John getting $12,000. Viewers are getting 3 items, like Art Sullivan getting 3 items. Nisi getting 3 items. Get multiple items with me starting right now. Get that pen and paper ready. We're going to reach out to different places that have different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. And they also have their own pot of money. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or Mitch's wonderful mixtape drop date. They don't know those words, so don't say them. Don't say them. So there you go. It's incredible, the numbers you're getting. And congratulations to Tim and Linda, who got this great sum of money. The next pot of money is even better, and it's Snap. John, as I said, got $12,000. Lynn Glenn got money for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got some money as well. How much are viewers getting? They're getting at least $6,000 a person, and it's going all the way up to a lot more. What is Snap? It's money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Reach out to Department of Agriculture to get it. How much does it pay? Family of 4 in Hawaii now gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow, why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders. One from Biden and one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15% nationally between now and December. So go get it. And you're just doing such a great job. Look at this, $15,000, $16,000 for Snap for family of 4, $5,000, but now it's looking like $13,000 for rent. And we are only 12 minutes of this video. I got more money for you right now. And it's the money coming back from your states. And we had one viewer 2 nights ago get this. I was so excited. She got $3,000. We had another viewer before that get $5,000. That's Mitch's helicopter. There's a lot of sounds outside. It sounds like, World War II today. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the microphone can pick it up, but there's a lot of noise outside. I guess they're invading. It's the stimulus invaders. Yeah, they're coming for Mr. Purple. Do they have my bacon? So the money coming back from the states is enormous. It is the refund due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and computer error. States were overpaying unemployment benefits due to computer error, and the federal government said, nope, you have to return that right back to the citizens. It's their money. It's not their fault. There was a computer error. So how much are viewers getting? One viewer got $5,000. Where? Direct deposit. When? Reach out to your state and say, hey, state, where is that money due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And finally, the last pot of money is the refund check for IRS. It's wonderful. If you got this as well, jump in the live chat. If you haven't posted yet in the live chat, the money you've got for rent, utility, Snap, post it right now. Every dollar, make it annualized. Post it so other people see it, the success story. This wonderful money was gotten by Margaret Codd and Michael, and it is the money from IRS for that refund. Let's go over the details. First, how much? Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go into irs.gov and do a user search, do a transcript search with your username and password and social security number, and reveal 70% of the time information. It'll reveal stuff that you knew and stuff that you really did not want to know. It'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal when did Mitch launch his opera career. It'll reveal who will be doing backup for Mitch on his mixtape. and then a reveal when that refund check is coming. Can we top that? We can, as we go into the second and the big part of your fourth stimulus check update 2021 starting right now. Well, here we are. We're a little bit over 2 weeks since the split day. And that split day is what I refer to as the day in which the bipartisan and the recon were split, giving us two paths across the board. On that day, we saw two paths, and what those two paths embodied were roads and bridges in the bipartisan and money for the American people in the recon. Why was this such a game changer and great news for you? Because before that date, the recon with your money in there was not passable. Meaning, what does not passable means? It means if they called it for a vote, it would not pass. They would not have enough votes to pass it among the Democrats. It would fail. We would be over it. We'd go home with nothing. So what did they do? Well, over the weeks leading up to 2 Wednesdays ago, Nancy, Chuck, and the President, Jalapal, were meeting regularly and saying, we have a problem. This recon is too big. We're getting pushback from our Democrats saying the recon is too big. You need to take some stuff out of the recon. And so what did they agree to 2 Wednesdays ago? To take out of the recon roads and bridges and put it into the bipartisan, making a split. Suddenly, roads and bridges were taken out of the recon, making the recon substantially smaller, shrinking it, and now putting the roads and bridges into the bipartisan. Your money staying in the recon. What were the benefits of this, and what are the benefits of this as we go into a new week? A lot of them. Number one, the first benefit of it is that the recon became now passable because it shrunk. We have Democrats and GOP saying much the same. In a conservative op-ed written by a very well-written conservative op-ed author, he writes the following. He basically confirms what I just said to you. Number one, the higher the top line was for the recon, the price tag was for the recon, the harder it was to pass. There you go. Then he says, by allowing the Democrats to cleave out some of the spending and put it into the bipartisan, take out the roads and bridges, put it into the spending, the bipartisan, that allowed the recon to get smaller. Well, obviously, you're taking out roads and bridges, the recon got smaller. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. There you go. Sorry, Mitch, set you up. It's just nothing else to say about it. I mean, that's what happened. The Democrats the GOP had nothing to gain by blessing a portion of the bipartisan because it made the recon now passable. So basically, you made the recon now passable because you shrunk it and took roads and bridges out. What was the next benefit of that? Now that the recon was shrunk, it gave the opportunity for the progressives who have everything in that recon to put a little bit more in there, just a little bit more. I'm going to first go over the adding more in there, and then I'm going to go over what they're adding in there. Let's go over first what a recon is. A recon stands for reconciliation. It is a bill that is written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. GOP has nothing to do with the writing of the recon. Who actually puts the pen to paper? The House subcommittees dedicated for that subject matter, with oversight from the Senate subcommittees, their colleagues of the same political party. So House committees are delegated certain subjects under the way they're established, and they deal with those subject matters. So what are those House subcommittees and what are those House members saying? They're saying that they're making that recon grow a little bit larger to put everything they want to put in there across the board. Wow. So now we see that now that roads and bridges are out, Democrats are putting in a little bit more, just a little bit more, to provide more checks to the American people. And what are those checks? Well, first, let's go over what they're doing before we go over what it is. Representative Ilhan Omar confirms this. We have a commitment that regardless of what happens with the bipartisan legislation, Congress will give us a recon that goes as far as we want it. Wow, that's wonderful news. And then we have Representative Richie Torres who says that I refuse to vote for any bill that is not linked to the very big recon. And he says he's put in housing. Housing? More about that in a second. And then finally, the progressives are meeting with the president daily to discuss making sure that the recon goes big enough. That's Progressive Caucus. So what is in the recon? Here's what you need to know, is that you're going to see coming up in a second in this video, that the subcommittee that's responsible for writing stimulus checks, House Ways and Means, is also the subcommittee responsible for writing unemployment or unemployment extensions. They've written a letter saying they're putting monthly for stimulus checks in there, but they haven't given us any other updates. Why? Because of under the Constitution, House subcommittees don't have an obligation to give you transparency. They don't have to give you an update. They don't have to appear on broadcast media every 10 seconds, say, I wrote 4 more pages, here they are. They can just keep it to themselves and not tell the American people. They can also keep it quiet and that they call a vote on anything. It's not required to be a public record until it's actually finalized. And so they could be adding in FPUC, PUA, PEUC. They could be extending unemployment benefits. They could be doing rent or housing. Apparently they are, as Torres says. They could be doing a lot of other things like student loan debt forgiveness. But ultimately, this is why you have to push purple power, because they can put something in there and can take it out. Something could be in there today and could be out tomorrow. They've been working all week on this. They do confirm. But here's what you need to know is that they can absolutely put in their FPUC. They can put in their PUA, PEUC, and similar. And why should they? Well, on Thursday, the jobs number came in, and it was horrible. It was horrible. The new jobless claims for Thursday showed that 373,000 Americans who were employed with a job in the week before, who were employed throughout the entire pandemic, were laid off. Were laid off in the last week. It showed a shot up from the week before and was higher than what Wall Street's estimates were. Again, remember, these are people who are not staying at home because they don't want to work. These are people who had a job that worked throughout the entire pandemic and were just laid off. Then we have China saying their economy is now going in reverse. It's contracting. We think the policy signals suggest the economy is likely slowing in June. We had the Treasury yields fall 1.25% on Thursday, even though by Friday they were back up. And that suggests that there's a big slowing. And then there was a stock market crash on Thursday as concerns that really the economy is not rebounding as much as thought. All that signals that they should really do that unemployment extension. Now, remember, if an unemployment is expired or if it needs to be extended, it only takes a line or two. It's very simple because they've already written the unemployment legislation in early 2020 in CARES Act 1 in the first stimulus package. All they have to do is say, we extend the prior package or we reinstate the prior package. It doesn't require a lot of work. They can do it. So you need to push purple power. And that brings us to the next wonderful thing about the recon. How are they able to do this? Because it's so protected. Jalapal and Schatz, who's a Democrat out of Hawaii, a progressive, says that the White House has praised them for really protecting the recon. Remember, the recon is just checks for the American people. There's nothing else in the recon. There is no roads and bridges anymore in there. It's just checks for the American people. We get a little bit of insight here and there. We're told that there are forced stimulus checks. We're told that there is housing. We're told that there is money for children and seniors and medicine. But we don't get a lot of details of it because it's not a finality yet. Well, Jalapal and Schatz say that the president has told them that the progressive priorities in the recon is the White House's priorities. Wow. How do we get to this wonderful spot? From Jalapal, who had written written Schumer a letter saying, call the vote, Chuck. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, who are among 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter earlier saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Now, that's 100 House members. That's just not a few. That's a lot. Can we top that? We can. As 7 members of that House Ways and Means subcommittee detailed early in this video, wrote the president a letter recently saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus recon package. Wow. Now, this is huge because earlier I told you that those House subcommittees write the recon. What does House Ways and Means do? They write the stimulus checks. They write the unemployment. And they wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in there. You need to push purple power. You need to ensure that they keep their promise. Legislators can flip-flop. They can say they're going to keep it in there one day and take it out the next day. You can't sit back on that chair and put your feet up and eat that donut and say, I'm taken care of. No, you may not. You need to keep on pushing because these legislators can change their mind. But these people gave you a third stimulus recon check earlier this year. They say they're also giving you a fifth stimulus recon check next year as well. More about that in a second. And they wrote your first and second stimulus check. Wow, that's wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. As has now become official, the minimum corporate tax rate internationally is now officially law. It was a ceremonial signing 3 weeks ago, but now it's a formal signing. And that law is the following. It now raises the minimum corporate tax rate internationally to make it easier to pass for stimulus. What's going on? Forced stimulus is paid for by raising corporate taxes, but the president said he was worried that companies may move overseas where the corporate tax rate is lower. So he reached out to those countries and said, raise it higher. And those countries said, yes. Now it's a finality. Now it's finality this week, which makes it, number one, easier to write for stimulus recon because you don't have to have those provisions about international corporate taxes in there. Makes it easier to call the vote on the forced stimulus recon and makes it easier to pass forced stimulus recon. Anchoring forced stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line and making it easier to pass. Wow. Can we top that? We can. In the third part of the forced stimulus check update, the final 15 minutes of this video, the most critical 15 minutes of this video, it's coming up. I'm going to go over everything you've been asking for. When, how, where, bill, vote, dates, July 15th, July 7th. I'll be going July 4th. We'll be going over all those dates coming up in a second. But first, also the exciting details about what's happening with the fifth stimulus as well. But also, the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, SNAP, or internet, I want you to get that big money. If you saw the viewers in the live chat, and if you haven't posted as well, post it right now. If you've seen the people posting the big money for rent, utilities, internet, and SNAP that they've gotten, and you haven't gotten it, you need to get it. It's there for you. The federal government dedicated there to be there for you. And if you try to get it and you're having frustration, you can't find it, then don't worry. I got your back. We all got your back. It's the volunteers. They're salt of the earth. They are viewers just like you trying to help you. So reach out to them. They're on the community page. How do you find the community page? Open the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll see an emoji of a house. Not Nancy's. Click the link. It'll send you over to news.lalate.com/community. On the community page, you'll see a breakdown of the big money across the... You'll see a big picture of some kitty cats. Below them are the volunteers as they're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They'll help you get the big money. And they're absolutely wonderful. But they cannot cook you a tostada. They cannot teach you how to sing Mitch's lyrics. But they can get you about everything else. And I'll be back in 60 seconds with the big finale. Don't miss this one of your final 15 minutes of this big Afternoons LA broadcast. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now on this big afternoon's broadcast. Boy, it's heating up in the final 15 minutes as we go over some shocking details about forced stimulus. I'll go over everything you've been asking, and they're all answered in this video. We also cover fifth stimulus as well, with raising up your benefits lifetime and what happened yesterday and what's happening today in the financial markets that impacts us as well. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Next stop 1 million. 400,000 in 1 year. Next stop 1 million. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. Every like helps. It helps in the algorithm rankings. It also delivers some you'll play. Consider becoming a member as well. And let's get right into fifth stimulus right now. Fifth stimulus is heating up. Also, stay on this video. It'll automatically take you into Evenings LA coming up right after this one. Fifth stimulus is the big item that millions of Americans on benefits were promised by the president when running for presidency and during the transition papers. Now it's becoming a reality. It's in fifth stimulus, and it's not SSI 200, but it's a new type of blend, and it pays a lot more money. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply an inflation benchmark. They'll remove the asset limit, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over all the details about what is going on with this great reform you're owed. First, before that, let's go over fifth stimulus checks. Yes, those House Democrats in that Ways and Means Committee are finding a way and finding a means to get a fifth stimulus check out to you next year. It would not overlap with the fourth stimulus check. Number two, the president's dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure your benefits land on time. This is great news, so that you get third, fourth, and fifth on time in your monthly checks. Number three, if you're missing a first or second or third stimulus check, you need to do two things. File tax return. And number two, on the tax return, you need to request the missing stimulus check. If you haven't done both, go to a tax preparer. They know how to do it. All right, let's get to fifth stimulus. Well, fifth stimulus starts by raising up everyone's benefits across the board. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, or Calcino benefits. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. That new benchmark is applied later this year for next year's benefits. And that new benchmark is inflation. That benchmark determines how much your benefits go up next year. But that inflation number has just literally gone everywhere. It's like a rubber band. It went one way earlier this week. It came back on Thursday, and by Friday went back the other direction. We have a few more months of this. And, call Miss Cleo, because this is going to take a little while to go through. But this inflation number is just all over the place. What happened? Well, on Thursday, the Treasury yields, which is tracking inflation, fell 1.25%. What's going on here? Well, the worry on Thursday, which caused the stock market to crash, was that inflation is transitory and is over. That the spike had been over. By Friday, they said, no, it's not over. Okay, can you make up your mind? Is the party over or is the party not over? On Thursday, they said the decline in the bond yields could be signaling that the inflation burst is transitory, meaning temporary, and or that the Delta variant will slow the growth, although at 1.25%, that seems like extreme, said Ed Heyman, founder and chairman of Evercore. Well, at this point, no one really knows what to think. We see some economies like Japan, China, and maybe ours that are starting to slow and not rebound as fast as we thought. But most analysts still think that inflation is going up. Jay Powell, his comments still are that by the end of this year, your inflation will reach its highest price point of the entire year. Well, if that's the case, the only thing that remains is how high. Is it 10%? Is it 5%? Let's use a number. Let's use 5%. If it's 5%, your benefits will be stepped up first under fifth stimulus and then stepped up another 5%. Not next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the inflation rate next year is 1%, then you'll be a +1, +5%. It's wonderful news. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have some stimulus checks, some Crayola crowns, and maybe some pizza in the hand. Then they're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away, so you'll be able to work and also stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and have benefits restored, not retroactively, but at least restored. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. But if you're in the live chat and you're watching people post comments who have an emoji of a purple hawk next to their name, and you're wondering, how are they getting the money? I haven't got any money, and I don't even have that purple hawk thing next to me. How do I do this? Well, consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. It's also under the video where it says the word join. By joining as a member, you get delivered from me daily a breakdown of all the big money that is in third stimulus. When third stimulus passed, I said, yeah, you'll get a $14 stimulus check, but you're likely qualified for $14,000 or more. And now viewers understand that and have been getting that money daily. hourly. Whether it is $23,000 for Nisi for rent, utilities, and SNAP, whether it's $12,000 for John for SNAP, whether it's Art Sullivan getting 3 items, they're learning how to get these monies, and I want you to get that money as well. The link is at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. All right, let's go into the final part, that final 15 minutes of your fourth stimulus check, the most important part, starting right now. Well, here is what happened. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer had said over 1,000 times that the final vote would be by July 4th on the recon. Let's analyze that sentence. Final vote, it means there's no other votes after. It means the last vote. Number two, for the recon, that's just for the recon, not for the bipartisan. And that it would pass. So what happened? Well, what happened was when Nancy and Chuck was making those statements, there was only the recon. There was no bipartisan. And the recon had roads and bridges in them when Nancy and Chuck were saying by July 4th. They then learned that the Democrats would not approve it because the roads and bridges made the recon too big, not passable. They had to take the roads and bridges out. Okay, so the split day was about 2 Wednesdays ago. They split the roads and bridges apart. So after they called that split, that was certainly before July 4th. Why not call the vote then, Chuck? Well, here's the problem, is that there's enough Democrats who have said you have to call the vote for the recon and the bipartisan close in time. Well, why can't we just call the recon for a vote like now and then call for the bipartisan for a vote, the day after? Well, here's the surprise. The bipartisan is not written. Excuse me? Yeah. So the recon we are represented to by Democrats is near finished or is finished. But the bipartisan, we have confirmation because it's bipartisan from both sides. It's not written. Who's to blame for this? The president. During the month of June, the president met day in, day out with Shelley Moore Caputo, who is the GOP negotiator. She never came with a bill. She never came with a written piece of paper. And ultimately, those negotiations fell apart. But the president did get it done when he met with a bipartisan group, a different group of people, and got that bipartisan split 2 Wednesdays ago. But here we go. He repeated the same process. The bipartisan group didn't have a bill, and they didn't have a written proposal either. Okay, so which I would say then, well, that was 2 Wednesdays ago. It's actually now 2 Wednesdays ago and a few more days, so it's over 2.5 weeks. What are we doing here? Well, they haven't finished writing it. To which I would say, well, just call the recon for a vote now if the recon's done, and then we'll get to the bipartisan when you finish writing it. And here's the problem. The Democrats have come back and said, no, the recon has to be passed somewhere in close proximity to the bipartisan. Now, remember, I've been telling you that the only way the recon can pass is if it's called for a vote before the bipartisan or concurrently or close in time. But here's the problem, is you can't call the recon for a vote like, let's say, in July, and then call the bipartisan for a vote, let's say, in September. There's enough Democrats saying, no, that's not close enough in time. So what's the holdup? The fact that the bipartisan has not been written to finality yet. And here's why this is not acceptable. There's no mushy-mushing about this. This is not acceptable. This is hashtag Write the Bill from this channel of 2020. In 2020, we had a big campaign. It went viral to hashtag Write the Bill, where we said, we can all write this bill in a day. What's taking you so long? These are legislators. They're elected to legislate. They're elected to write bills. They're not elected to flip pancakes. This is what they're doing. Elected to do. They're paid a salary to do this. This is their job. If it takes them more than 2 weeks to write something as a bill, there's something going wrong with them. Moreover, remember that it's bipartisan, so you have to add a little extra time on it. This is not Democrats with Democrats. But the fact that they have not given an update about where they're writing the bipartisan. The fact that the president didn't have anyone write any bill throughout the month of June showed a lack of urgency by this president. And now that his recon is being held up because of a lack of urgency in dealing with the bipartisan drafting is just a repeat of the problems of 2020. It shows that it's not just a one-party problem. It shows both sides of the aisle are needing to be pushed. So hashtag Write the Bill. You need to go on social media. You need to be very vigorous about this. They need to get this legislation written, the bipartisan. Hashtag Write the Bill, because that is why the recon has not been called to a vote. Next, the vote. So over a month ago, I used to do a lot of videos about the voting process, but I'm bringing them back in because I'm getting a lot of questions about it. Some people said, so they just go vote it on one day. So it's just recon and bipartisan. You know, when they're done writing the bipartisan, it'll just be voted on one day and they'll send out the check the next day. No, this is a democracy. This, as a democracy, it takes more than just one vote to pass something. And in this country, we have a Congress. We have the House and the Senate that both have to vote on something, and then the president has to sign it, become a bill. Okay, so is that 2 days? No. In fact, it's 12 steps. 12 steps? Why is it 12 steps? It is 12 steps because we have 3 bills. We have a recon substantive bill, a recon procedural bill, and a bipartisan. And each bill has 4 steps. Now, it does not take 12 days to do the 12 steps, but it's 12 steps. Step 1, Senate floor. Step 1, a Senate subcommittee votes on it. Step 2, Senate floor votes on it. Step 3, House votes on it. Step 4, the president signs into law. That has to be repeated 3 times for the procedural recon, the substantive recon, and then the bipartisan. So that needs to get done. Big push needs to get done for that. Third, then comes the question of dates. I've seen some questions about July 15th, July 4th. Now, we've already addressed July 4th. How about this July 15th? I've had enough of my subscribers who are very smart and savvy jump in the live chat and answer that for other viewers. July 15th, July 14th, those dates are for third stimulus. This is a fourth stimulus video. That's for third stimulus and for children's checks. Third stimulus has nothing to do with fourth stimulus. It is totally different. I've seen some people say, well, can they send this out when they're doing the third stimulus? No. Third stimulus is third stimulus. This is fourth stimulus. It's a whole different ball of wax. Finally, it's important to understand that you have to push and you can't take anything for granted. And the economic data this week was poor. And when the economic data is poor, you have to be opportunistic because we're opportunistic here. The president a week ago was doing a victory lap saying, hey, the new job creation number was great. Shows we're all back to normal. Oh, no, we're not back to normal. Pandemic's ravaging out of control. ICU beds at 80% capacity in Missouri. The variant may be the dominant strain here in California. Japan's in a state of emergency. Stock market's crashing. Stock market's having the worst month since for a while. Jobless claims out of control. And Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, he always says his gauge of the economy is based upon unemployment numbers. And the unemployment numbers on Thursday were horrible. Horrible. So if you're sitting back and saying, well, if they're still not finished, then I want to push and get that thing in there. Absolutely. So if you're sitting back and saying they need to extend FPC, they need to bring back PUA, they need to do PEUC. As one viewer, Rosie, I think her name was, or Donna. Donna said, well, why don't we just make FPUC come from the federal government and go around the states? Absolutely. Try that as well. Viewers saying, we need student loan debt forgiveness in there. Absolutely. Push. And then certainly with stimulus checks. With stimulus checks, don't take anything granted. These legislators can take something out and put it back in at any spur of the moment. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, right when the finality is before us for fourth stimulus. And suddenly the economic data is reversing for the first time in a very long time and showing bad numbers. Use that as being opportunistic. Contact your senators, call them up, call up your Democratic senators, and express to them professionally why you need monthly stimulus checks. Don't ask them, is it, or when, or where is it coming, or when. No, just give your pitch about why you need it. This is why I want to tell you why I need it. And also whatever things else you think you need to be included in there. And ultimately, as a family, we'll get together through this together as one. Meantime, coming up next is Evenings Lalate. Stay on this video, automatically take you there. Then overnight's crypto, and then evenings crypto, and then we go into Sirloin at 8 o'clock evenings. And thank you for, I think it was Yaya, for finding the viewer who encouraged me to bring back Sirloin. And if you can find him as well, that would be graciously appreciated. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. I want you part of this family as we continue to push and continue to achieve stuff together. Also, like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Stay informed, stay focused. Stay on this video as we go right into Evenings LA coming up next at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.